Okay, so we're still continuing with, I mean, I'm not going to be doing all of the layers for you, but at least just continuing on, for example, touching on the main ones that you need to know about. I will leave those to you. The ones inside, they are very much, the furniture itself is very much self-explanatory. And as I said, all of the layers that are here that needs to be created, I have created them for you here, and I've placed those on your course bulletin and news. So if you scroll down, you're definitely going to find that furniture is going to be on iFern. And this means that all of your desks that you have here and all of the chairs are going to be except for the seating. So the desks and the chairs and the conference room table, those are going to be on this layer here, which is furniture, iFern. If you want to take a look at how iFern line type and line weight and color are going to be looking like, also place this on course bulletin and news, and you can scroll up to find, for example, that here is a corresponding iFurniture. So you have just the, let me just go here, iFern, which is green. And the line type is continuous, it's 0.25, and this is for any furniture except as below. So for example, the seating, okay, it does have a dedicated layer, and these are its properties. Okay, so you know that you're going to create this for the desks and table and conference table, and then this is going to be where the couches and seatings. By the way, the chairs, if you want to place the chairs here, you can. If you want to, I mean, place the chairs here, that's up to you. I mean, the designation is not that much, going to be problematic if you played, but here seat is more for couches and sofas. iFern is probably anything related to desks or tables and stuff like that are going to be here. So I'm not going to be creating those for you, but let's create another two. So this time I'm going for the columns. You can see that the columns here are on S columns, COLS, and these are the base building columns. So let's take a look at those and the designation of those. So I'm going to be clicking here, and I'm going to scroll down. I have S building or S columns here. So those are S, COLS. It has the 8 number. This is a continuous line, the 8 for the color, and 0.25. So let's create this in our file. We're going to go to layer properties. We're going to get a new document. This document was a cap letter, and then we have COLS, right? We know that this is 8 as well. So we're going to type 8 here and clicking OK. And this is a continuous line, and this is 0.25. So just making sure that, yes, it's 0.25. I'm going to go back here, and we're going to type here. We're going to find the 0.25 millimeter, and there we go. Clicking OK, and there we go. Now, if you want to, I can make this a current layer by clicking here and then closing. And then after that, I'm going to start picking the columns. All of the columns are those ones. So I can select them all. Okay, so keep selecting them. And then we're going to place them on that layer. So we have those as well. Okay, I don't think we have any more. Okay, there is one here. All right, and yeah, I think we got them all. And then after that, I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to assign those to the S columns layer. Press escape, and there you go. The walls, the outside walls are basically structural walls, and this means that they do belong here to the base building structural core, which is any structural element. So this is going to belong to S building. So I'm going to go here and find those here. That's blue. So it's SBLDG continuous and 0.5. You can see that this is much thicker than other, excuse me, than other elements in our drawing, and it should be because those are the structural elements of the drawing. So I'm going to go to create this one, for the walls. I'm gonna go here, new SBLDG. Now this color, I think it's blue. It's the original blue. Okay, the original blue that it's that's its default with AutoCAD. So we're gonna go here and change this to blue. Okay, and we have this as, I think, 0.5. Excuse me. Right. And just making sure that, yes, and it's a continuous line. Okay, and let's make it the current layer. Close here, and then we're going to start selecting. Now remember that we're selecting the all the lines here that is creating or containing the building structural element, which is the walls. Okay. So here, you can select that. Yes, building, and this is how it should look like. I'm going to keep selecting those as well. I know it might be an arduous process, but this is what we used to do. I mean, we used to draw all of those layers and by hand. So you can imagine that for us, this is, or for my generation, this is something that for me, it's much more revolutionary doing this way than drawing all of those layers, each one on a separate sheet. So we're going to go here and it's building, and there you go. Okay, so this is how it should look like. Another layer that I think I will be doing with you as well is the layer for the dimensions. If I click here, I have, excuse me, the grid dims, which are the spaces between the grid and the building dim. So I just wanted to make sure that you, you know, comprehend the difference between those two, because I have the grid dims here. So basically, I'm going to create this first. So I'm going to go here. This is a new layer. It's structural as well. And grid and dims. All right. And I'm going to make this the current layer. And then I want to see here on my notes, I have, yes, so this is red, continuous, and 0.13. So let's go back to our drawing. Red. Okay, it's continuous and it's 0.13. That's very small. It's thin. And we're going to make this, it's already, we created this, we made this a current layer. And this is the dimensions between the grid lines. So I'm going to click here. As you can see, I have those. And those are different than the dimensions for the walls and for the openings, or the dimensions between the openings. So the dimension between the grid lines, they do have their own layer. Even if it's the same type of properties like the line weight and the line type and the color, we still need to put it on a different layer. So I need to see any, you know, if there are any dimensions between those lines, between those grid lines, then those are going to be, or those are going to belong to the grid dimension. I'm going to click here and select this like that. And let's go beyond or below. I'm clicking escape. And it's fairly normal that the color of the text is different than the line. That's actually something that you'll learn how we're going to be doing it. Okay, just to distinguish the text from the line, the color of the line itself. All right, so any dimension, as I said, between the grid is going to have its own layer, which is the S grid dims. However, any dimension outside of those, so the dimension of this wall or the dimension of the windows, those do have their own dimension layer. So I'm gonna go here and we have, I think it's, yes, the building dims, that's the base building dimension. So this is going to be also an SBLDG dims. All right, and let's see its properties. It's red as well, and it's 0.13. As you can see, it's no difference. There is nothing really, there's not that much difference between this and S-grid dims and the S-grid, the S-building dims, but we still have to put them in separate layers. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in red, continuous 0.13. And because we created this after the grid dims, it inherited the same properties. So this is great. We can make this the current layer. All right, and then I'm going to start picking all of those dimensions like that. Okay, in selecting this as well, those overall dimensions, and this here, and this, and each one of those as well. Also those, the inside ones. And this too, and then I'm going to right click. I think you can, because there was something that we could have used, but I actually refrained from using it, which is when we right click after selecting something, we can select similar. But if I did that, it would have selected actually the grid dimension. So that's why I didn't want to do that. Okay, so just letting you know that we could have selected all dimensions, but we couldn't because the grid dimensions belong to a different layer. So all of those now belong to the S building dims like this. Okay, and you still have to do those on your own on that side. All right, so that's, and you definitely need to complete the walls. Just want to say that, okay, the interior walls, they do belong to here. I print full, so that's full height partition. So the interior walls need to be on this layer. Okay, there are two type of doors, the base building door. Let's do the base building door together, because there are the entrance door, and the entrance door belong to this type of door, and there are the interior doors. So the interior doors belong to the I door, and the base building door belong to the S building door. So let's go to create the S building door. And let's see the properties for that. SBLDG, we have color 8 and 0.25. So let's go here and create this SBLDG and door. And it's the same color. It's color, this 8 color. Okay, it's continuous, and I think it's 0.25. Okay, yes, it is 0.25. So I'm going to change this, the line thickness to, okay, and let's make this the current layer. I'm going to close that. And okay, we are going to, we already put those, as you can see. Yeah, so I need to select those. And when I select, I can click and I can drag a bubble around that. All right, so I wouldn't be actually picking something else that I don't want to pick. And then I also want, of course, you should have, continued on doing the dimensions for those. So the dimensions belong to their own dimension, as we said. But so for this, I need to pick that. I'm going to also do this carefully, and I'm going to do this and then pick those on their own. And those belong, as I said, to the door. So that's S building door because that's the door, the entrances. As we said, the interior door belong to I door layer. And if you want to see what are the properties for those, you have to scroll all the way up and find the I door, which is located here. Okay, so this is the one. The D and N is demolished and new. So, so if you're wondering what's I door and what's the difference between this and what's the difference between that, it's the difference is that D is for demolished and N is for new. And since we don't have any of those, then I door is the one that the interior doors are going to be placed on. Final note about the windows. Windows belong to the I glaze layer. Okay. And we also have one thing to say about the fixture. You have a plumbing fixture, and those plumbing fixtures, as you can see, are here in the washroom. So where are those? Well, those should actually be on the P BLDG fixture. Those are base building plumbing fixture. So the P is located here. If you just scroll down, you're going to find P for plumbing. There you go, P floor fixture. Okay, I think I'm sorry, it might be the base building fixture. It might be this or that. I'm not really keen on, that much specification at this stage, but I think what I wrote here, it's the P building fixture is the right thing. So because we don't have partition, this is not a public washroom. So the building fixture or the plumbing fixture layer is going to be P building fixture, and this is where you can find here. Let me just highlight this. This is the layer, and it's and all its properties. So I hope that after you view the video, you're going to be able to put all of the layers on the prospect, or respective dimensions or respective layers, and let me know if you have any problems.